Dave, thank you so much for joining me today for this inaugural snapshot of life at Snap.
Thank you, Claire. Yeah, great to be here.
Tell me a little bit about your career journey and what led you to the role of CEO at Snap Analytics.
So I started my journey, actually, I was just saving some money to go travelling, and that was just over 20 years ago now. Never got to go travelling, but it will come, I've still got time. So yeah, I was actually working on a support desk for a company called Northgate Arinzo, answering phones, bizarrely, just to try and save a bit of money. My boss's computer broke. I repaired it. She said, "You're a bit of a nerd, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I really am." And at home, when I was younger, I used to build PCs and things like that in my spare time. I shouldn't admit to this, should I? But yeah, so I enjoyed technology. I had a real passion for it, and I ended up getting a role in the analytics team in that organisation. It was HR payroll, helping to support companies who were creating reports to understand things like staff attrition and things like that. Maybe we should talk, Claire, in your role as head of people. So yeah, HR analytics was where my journey began in support. I quickly moved into the consulting team, and I really enjoyed the people side of things, actually going out, working with people, trying to solve problems, trying to help them improve their businesses through the use of data. It's just something I really enjoyed and was really passionate about. My degree was actually in sports science, so I had no right to really go into data and analytics.
A natural journey.
It was a natural journey from sports science into analytics. But yeah, so that was kind of where I began. Really sort of enjoyed and thrived in the consulting side. As you know, I like to talk. So yeah, and I enjoyed that, building relationships with people and helping them solve problems. I also loved the technology. Started working with tools like, Business Objects and Cognos, very much on the front end side of things, creating nice data visualizations. And then realized actually someone somewhere needs to get all that data and pull it all together and create that logic. And again, so started doing ETL with SAP Data Services at the time. And I really enjoyed that, the complexity. There was always a new problem or a new challenge, and I really enjoyed that, solving those big complex problems that people were struggling to solve. So I then moved on into sort of, I guess, project and program management of big strategic data programs. Before saying, well, where do I go from here? I actually enjoyed the technology. I still like to be hands-on, but I found myself managing people and at the same time, I was working for a company called Bluefin Solutions. They'd been acquired. There were some changes in the business, and a few of us in that organisation kind of had a bit of a secret underground meeting, and we said, look, let's do something. The market was changing. Lots of companies were adopting cloud for analytics because, hey, look, I can now load as much data as I want. I've got immense compute power. And I think that technology shift was certainly an inspiration for us to go, this market's changing and it's changing rapidly. There's a real opportunity to help enterprises get their data into the cloud. And I think the other thing was the culture. We wanted to build our own culture, and culture really mattered to us. And we wanted to work with the people that we knew were collaborative, respectful, and just wanted to elevate others. I think that was the key thing, is to build a business. I'd worked in some roles where the culture in some of the organizations wasn't quite so positive. And I, myself and Tom in 2019 kind of said, look, let's create a place where people collaborate, people elevate each other, and also help those customers do amazing things with their data.
Brilliant. What have been some of the biggest challenges that you've faced as you've transitioned from the role of a consultant into that of CEO of Snap?
Yeah, I think it's been a really interesting journey. I think, as we've grown, we're sort of almost 70 people now. I think it's learning about people. I think business is all about people, as you well know in the role that you do. And I think people think differently. People's brains are often different. People have different opinions, different perspectives. And I think it's managing to or learning to communicate and adapt your communication depending on who you're talking to. Not in a manipulative way, but in a way that makes people feel comfortable.
It brings out the best in them.
And enables them to do their best work. I think that's really important. I've also learned you can't always please everybody. Not every decision you make is going to, people aren't always going to agree with you. And I think I've become more comfortable with that. I think maybe in the early days I was, I'm a people pleaser. I want everyone to be happy, and you have to learn to be comfortable that actually, you have to move on from that. Not people aren't always going to agree with you. People aren't always going to be happy. There are some people that aren't going to fit in with your values and your ways of working, and accepting that. Actually dealing with that in a positive way, and having it open, honest conversations. I think, so the biggest learning for me is to just address those things, have those difficult conversations early, but try and make them a positive for both people.
Do you feel your leadership style has changed as you've embraced the role?
I don't think my leadership style's necessarily changed. I've definitely learned a lot about leadership. And the importance of culture in particular is something that, if you'd have asked me 10 years ago, I'd have said it's a load of guff. It's just words on a wall. It's not that important. I think how people are expected to behave when you're not in the room, and actually hiring the types of individuals that fit with that kind of the kind of ethos that we've spoken about is really, really important. So I've definitely learned. I wouldn't necessarily say my leadership styles changed, but I've definitely learned that some areas are much more important than I thought they were, because as you hire those different types of individual and different types of people, you need to think during the hiring process, are they going to gel with the group that we have? Are they like-minded? But also, have we got enough variety in terms of, because you want diversity of thought, you want to encourage that, but not in a way that's going to negatively impact the team, but people that are going to bring alternative but respectful and positive perspectives.
Brilliant. You talked about culture. We talk about culture on a pretty regular basis. How would you describe the culture at Snap?
I think the values is a good starting point, right? I think we've kind of used the acronym SNAP for our values. So be smart is the first one. The second one is be nice. The third one is to be accountable, and the fourth one is to be passionate. So, and I think, digging a bit deeper into that helps to kind of articulate what our culture is all about. I think when you talk about being smart, we're not just saying be intelligent, right? We're saying be smart in the way that we communicate with our customers. Be smart in the way we communicate with our colleagues. Be smart in the way that in the judgments that you make. Make decisions based on the good of the team. The good of the business, not necessarily just what's best for you as an individual. It's about putting others first. So I think, be nice. You could say, well, that's a bit fluffy, isn't it? But actually, I think it just goes without saying, right? Be kind to people, even if you disagree with them respectfully. I think it's okay that we have different perspectives. I think when you look at, politics in the world right now, everyone feels like they have to have a side, and they have to be, that there's extremes of opinion, and I think it's really important that we can learn to meet in the middle. And being nice is just, look, hey, whatever your background, whatever your religion, your race, we could probably have a really interesting conversation. We've probably got different ideas, different perspectives about the world, about how we should behave, but that's great. Let's learn from each other. Let's take the best bits of all of those ideas and let's disagree respectfully where we have got a difference of opinion. So yeah, I think coming on to being accountable. Be accountable for the things that you do and say and your behaviour. Be accountable and be responsible for meeting the commitments that you make. And being realistic about that's really important, particularly in the data space, right? I guess early on in my career, I would have always said, yeah, I can do that. I'll get it done tomorrow, right? It might have been a week's work, because I'm just, you know me, Claire. I'm just very optimistic. I want to be positive. I think, being accountable is also being about being realistic. And if you're setting deadlines and timelines, do your best to meet them. Sometimes we're not going to. Things will come up, and we accept that. But I think, accountability is important. And I think the last one, be passionate. In consulting, it's really important that you care about what you're doing, and that you're genuinely interested and enthusiastic about it. I get way more excited than I should about data, and the power of what you can do and what big impact data can make in organizations. Really excited about some of the stuff we're doing, particularly in and around net zero, and how data can drive a really positive environmental impact. As you know, I could talk about this all day, but I think our culture, those things, those values really encapsulate our culture and what we're all about.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the culture is one of the things that makes it very, I don't want to say very easy to recruit for Snap, but certainly makes it easier. The other thing that has made it a big difference is the Snap Academy that we've been doing for the last couple of years. What advice would you give to prospective hires, prospective graduates or interns who are thinking about a career in data analytics or even joining Snap and taking part in that Snap Academy and the training that it incorporates? What advice would you give?
Well, as I say, my degree was in data science. So I would say, look, if you've got a degree in physics or art or and you are interested in data, of course it starts with being interested and enthusiastic about something. That passionate piece is important, but I would say don't necessarily think you have to fit a very specific mold. If it's something you're interested in, you can demonstrate that in your application, then go for it. We'd love to talk to you, and I think in terms of the academy, what I would say is the effort you put into learning early on in your career is going to define your whole career path. So really immerse yourself in that. Education is easily accessible these days. All of the AWS training is available online for free, which I think is fantastic. I think, rewind 20 years, it was much harder to access content. The internet wasn't what it is today, and I would say graduates today have a amazing advantage in that they've got access to all this incredible content. So really immerse yourself in that and take advantage of it, and just demonstrate that you are enthusiastic and you do care and that you are willing to learn. I think there was an interesting quote from the NVIDIA CEO recently, and he said, "Don't hire for skills, hire people that can learn fast." And I think my advice really would be somebody that learns fast, be somebody that is adaptable. The roles that we do today, in 12 months, 24 months are possibly going to be quite radically different than they are today, because the industry is moving so quickly. So we're looking for people that can adapt, that can learn very quickly. And yeah, I'd very much recommend that those people coming in don't sort of box themselves, be open-minded. Hey, look, Gen AI comes along, go and do the online course on Gen AI, get yourself clued up on, what's happening in the industry, and try and stay close to those new developments. Brilliant.
Good advice. Hopefully people are listening and taking that on board. My final question, and the one that I look forward to the most, is tell me something that no one else knows about you. And I think everyone's interested in this one.
Something that no one knows about me. I think it's probably my early football career. I was at Bristol City's academy for 9 years, and when we had a snap five-a-side, one of the grads looked at me and sort of said, "What on earth just happened?" I kind of took it as a compliment and an insult at the same time, because they thought, "How come this old man can play football?" But I've still got the touch, So yeah, my body's giving up a little bit these days. But in my mind, I'm still 18 and can run around like I used to. But yeah, so that was my early dream, was to become a pro footballer. I came pretty close, was in the under-19s academy side at Bristol City, but I was a goalkeeper, and sadly I wasn't 6'5", so I was this tall when I was 15, and I literally stopped growing. I haven't grown since I was 15 years old, and I was tall as a kid. In the early days, they told me that you're tall and you're gobby, you're not a great goalkeeper, but we can coach that. And so yeah, that's something that not a lot of people know about me, I think.
Brilliant. They do now.
There we go.
Dave, thank you so much for your time. This inaugural snapshot of life at Snap.
Thank you so much, Claire. As always, it's been really nice talking to you. We're Snap Analytics. We help organizations make sense of data. If you want to find out more, you can go to www.snapanalytics.co.uk. Thank you.